so whenever we do the tour, like the Shankly Experience tour, I always, like, we start, don't we, by saying the reason that we do this is obviously so the fans sort of fully understand, like, this, 61,000 seater stadium, state of the art training ground. Liverpool being obviously statistically the most successful English team of all time, and I always sort of say, but it wasn't always like that, and, like, fans need to understand, certainly newer generations of fans need to understand kind of where that came from and how it got to where it is. And obviously, if you want to be, like, specific about it, like, that big bang moment that sort of led to that happening was obviously my granddad coming in 1959. And I always say, because what he came into in 59 was very, very different from what you see now. So do you not think, like, that's probably some of the reason why that, like, he's kind of held up like that? Because
because that was the basis of what came in the future. It was so bad when he came here. There was, like, I don't even think there was any toilets at Melwood. And the ground was just... And I think that's the sort of person he was. He had to do things his way. And you wouldn't have survived nowadays in the football now with people telling him what to do, like they do now. He was just his own man and determined that he was going to do it the right way. And he's built the foundations. And he, they say Klopp was like my dad. In many ways he was. He was a passionate man, and they both were passionate. I think that's what you need in football. But nowadays, if they're not winning so many games, they're out the door.
Yeah.
They don't give them chance to do it.
Because he had a period, didn't he, as well? Like, and I mean, we can touch on it a little bit later than that. Obviously, we can arrange things around, because there was a period, wasn't there, in the middle of his time at the club, so I think it was like sort of just after 65, really, when there was a little bit of a lull, wasn't there?
It was about 67 to 73 or something like that.
Where there was a bit of a lull in winning something, and then it was kind of like building that second great team of his. Took a little bit of time, like, to sort of deconstruct the old one and then put the other one together and that. But I mean, we can go and touch on that in a minute. I mean, the other thing I always say as well, which, and it's one you don't have to answer as well, but, like, a lot of times, like, when you used to try and speak about me granddad here and ask about me granddad and stuff like that, you were quite closed on me grandy, weren't you, and things like that.
Yeah, because because although he was what he was just my dad.
Yeah.
So I grew up with it. So I'm like my mum. My mum just kept in the background, because if it hadn't been for my mum, my dad wouldn't have been where he was, or did what he did.
Yeah. So what, it was just sort of like, because you sort of had your fill of it, I suppose, over all the time and things like that, like, and stuff, and then
I think I just got used to him not being there. Obviously, they travelled a lot, and they used to play on Boxing Day, so he was never there Christmas Day, and it was just normal. I didn't think anything about it, really. So it's just when you brought people home and like, people at school or people at college, when I went to college, and like, he'd answer the door and they'd be like, just looking as if, and I go, well, it's just my dad, and he was just that, like Chris is, he loved the youngsters. He used to be on that field, every weekend they'd knock at the door and he'd be playing football, and he still had to win, even though he was playing against kids. He still had to. He determined they weren't going to beat him.
So, because I was saying, like, in terms of doing a bit of the chronology of it in many ways, and that, because obviously you were obviously 8, weren't you, when you moved here to Liverpool? Do you like remember much about before you moved to Liverpool, like, sort of pre-8? Because obviously you were at Huddersfield, weren't you, when you moved, and then obviously you'd been at Grimsby, and there was a little spell at Workington, wasn't there, as well? Obviously Carlisle was where he was when you were born, and that. Do you remember any of that?
I don't remember that far back. I remember Preston for some reason, but I mean, you think he lived in Deepdale Road at Preston.
Yeah.
But I remember Huddersfield, because I was 8 when I came here, so...
So they're like your first memories, really, Huddersfield, then?
Huddersfield, yeah, and the fact that I didn't want to move here.
Yeah.
I was quite happy where I was. It's a big thing for a child, isn't it? Uprooting, new schools. I mean, for the fact he said that Liverpool had a beach, which sounded good when I was 8.
Persuade you.
Didn't.
Yeah, trying to
beach.
persuade you to the...
Not quite true, no.
And so, and you kind of remember like that sort of, do you kind of like remember like that moment, like being told we're moving again kind
Yeah.
of thing and that?
That's what he said. I can remember where we were. We were in the hall in the house in Huddersfield by the front door. And he said, we're going to Liverpool. You'll love it. It's got a beach. And then he left. But my mum, we didn't follow on till 1960.
Yeah.
He went 59,
Yeah.
I think.
He went in the December, didn't he, in the 59, and
Yeah.
you followed, like...
Yeah.
And what was that, just while he was like finding the house like and stuff like that, and so that you could...
No, he just left everything to my mum. Packing
went
again.
Went and cracked on with the job.
Yeah.
So then, what's like your early memories then of obviously like coming into like Liverpool and stuff then, you know, like obviously moving into the house, that kind of thing, like, and stuff like that?
Well, it was near West Derby Village, because my sister was 6 years older than me. And everybody said, oh, the village, this and the... And I thought it was a little village, you know, like huts.
Yeah.
Mud huts.
Yeah.
And I said to my sister, Barbara, well, let's go to the village. It'll be exciting. When I went there, I was like...
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm settled in. I mean, I went to school, you know, here from when I was 8. Settled in well, you know.
And was he like not like was he not like not a big part of that settling in process then and stuff? I think he was just off like doing...
He was off doing what he was doing.
Doing what he was doing, and it was obviously down to like me nan and yous.
Yeah, I mean, my mum, she loved Huddersfield because she had loads of friends, loads of things that she did. And I think it's hard, I think, having moved like so many times before. But she's made loads of friends here and she's settled in. But she was just one of those people that was behind the scenes.
Do you think she ever had an issue when, like you said, like you were moving and stuff? Do you think like they ever had like, or do you think she was just like...
Probably just used to it, I should imagine. Ready. Because, I think I don't think she was bothered. She's just, I mean, nowadays they do it all the time, don't they?
Abroad as well.
Abroad. I think if we'd gone abroad, I think she would have just said, no, I'm not going.
Liverpool, obviously, when he got here, like mid-table second division team, you touched on Anfield before as well. I mean, did you get to go and like see any of that? Like, did you get to kind of go and see Melwood? Did you get to kind of go and see Anfield as it was, or were you kind of kept?
Not when it got all done up. Yeah. I used to be able to go into Melwood and watch them training. Now you can't get within 6 foot of it. And we used to go in and he'd take me down and watch the training. And then he'd take me to Anfield to have a look round.
So you were involved in all that as well, kind of thing.
But I didn't go to the matches. Yeah. My mum didn't go to the matches.
Did none of you go to the games? Was there a reason for that, or just like?
I don't know. I don't think she just ever did. Ever. Probably didn't ask her.
Probably gave the tickets to somebody else.
Yeah, sold them.
Gives them to Jerry Marsden.
It's lovely, isn't he, Jerry?
Yeah. So like when you went to like school and that and things then, and obviously as you were getting older, and obviously you were starting to have like more success and stuff, like what was it like for you in school then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because obviously you got that second name, Shankly, and it's like, you know, Liverpool is starting to win things and it's starting to like go forward and that. Like, that must have been a bit mad in school.
Well, it was only the junior school. It wasn't like a senior school when I came. It was obviously Blackmore Juniors.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any. The lads they used to come.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was only 8, 9.
Yeah.
And he was taken with there was like 4 lads that used to come, and he was taken with them.
Yeah.
You know, and he came to the is it open evenings or whatever and stuff, and things like that.
Because I always say, like, I could try to imagine, like the more, like, menial things in life, like, so, like, dropping you off at school, picking you up from school, like, and going in and that, like, did it, like,
the only time,
like...
Well, no, because it was different then. There was a bus, and I was one penny, the bus, home. But then, he'd always promised me a dog. But when we lived in Huddersfield, it was a main road, and it was traffic. And he said, I'll get you a dog when we move to Liverpool. That was another one, I've forgotten that.
Yeah.
So, and I was coming home from school and I was walking along Eaton Road around the corner, going home. And he pulled up in the car and he opened the door and there was a puppy sitting on the front seat.
Yeah,
So
and that was
kept his
Scamp, was it?
So he kept his promise.
Well, and obviously he used to like going out and walking the dog, didn't he? Obviously all around
He used to
here.
take it into the training ground, didn't he?
Yeah, into Belfield.
Because he had the groundsman at the training ground was a great friend of my dad's. And he used to take the dog in, and they had a guard dog that was not a guard dog, if you know what I mean. And he used to be in there for hours talking. He went in there every day.
I was asking you today, wasn't I? Like as well, things like summer holidays and stuff like that. Because I was trying to visualise like what it must have been like for you. Like I said to you, didn't I? That was a mad question. I was like, when you went on a summer holiday, where did you just go? And like, was he one of them where like he'd get in the pool with you and that, like, and things like that? Or because like in my head, I was like, was he just always laser focused or preoccupied on like football and stuff?
Yeah.
But what was it like summer holidays and stuff like that? Like, because you did go away, didn't you?
Went to Scotland a couple of times. But then we used to go to a hotel in Blackpool, and everybody was around him, all the time. And they had a lot of Spanish and Italian waiters. So they said, would you come and have a game of football? So off he went.
Playing
a game
football.
of football with the waiters.
So it was even on holiday, like you didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you really like kind of seen much of
And
him.
then sometimes, because it was like, managers have things to do, don't they? In the 6 weeks off or the whatever, he'd have to come back to Liverpool sometimes and deal with stuff.
What? So you would stay there and
Yeah.
he'd shoot back. And then what would he come back then? Would he after it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So obviously you just became used to that then, like
Yeah,
like
there's no problem.
in terms of him, like sort of
That's a strange thing. It didn't dawn on me anything different. It was just
normality.
normality.
Which is, in many ways, which is like a little bit quite sad, really, isn't it? A little bit like that's just like the normality of it, really. At the end of the day, I mean, do you remember like obviously all like the stories about people coming and knocking at the front door and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Do you like remember that a lot? Because
Definitely.
how old were you when you moved out of 30 Belfield then, would you say? Can you remember? How old was it when you left?
When I got married.
Was that when you married my dad then?
Yeah, 21.
So you were there till you were 21 then. So that would have been what? That would have been like 72, wouldn't it? Like, that's right, isn't it? I'm right there, aren't I?
Yeah,
Got
72.
that right, didn't I? Good job, I got that one right there. No pressure. Obviously coming like to the end and that. So you were at home then, really, weren't you, for like the bulk of his Liverpool career then, weren't you? Because obviously 74 when he left and that. So do you remember all that then? Like people coming to the house and things? Is that a memory for you?
Yeah, definitely.
And what? So
Didn't matter who they were. With your nan, you know what your nan was like.
Yeah.
Oh, come in and have a cup of tea. Do you want anything to eat? I can imagine it wouldn't happen nowadays. I can't imagine anybody knocking on Jürgen's door.
Yeah.
Saying, come in and have something to eat.
So you like that would have been like common for just like you could just come home from school or from work or whatever and there'd just be like random people just sat off in the house having like a chat with them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, is that because I find it like mad, so that was just like you should almost just be like normality to you.
Yeah, it's just normal.
You just sort of come in and be like, oh yeah, there's 5.
I remember when they won the World Cup in England. Won the
66,
World Cup,
yeah.
Because I was going out with somebody who spent his whole time watching the telly with my dad.
So I always say that was like quite an interesting one then when because obviously when you meet like your in-laws and stuff like that, obviously it's a bit of a big thing. Must have been quite intimidating like for like people obviously like going and meeting my granddad then, wasn't it, and things like that, or was it? I don't know. What was he like with like boyfriends and things like that, and my auntie Babs as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
What was he like with like
Well,
lads?
she was married very young.
Yeah.
And she had 2 children by the
That was
time
Vic
she was
then, wasn't it?
21. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had 2 children by 21. I don't know. He was fine with me until I sort of was going out with like these sort of Bob Dylan type hippie types with big hair and long hair. And I always remember they knocked at the door. They knocked at the door one day and he answered the door and he just looked because he was like, men should have short hair,
No, was that what he was like?
Oh, God, yeah.
No, like, yeah.
And
No
he just
Kettwings.
opened the door and he just went, there's something at the door for you. Honestly, so embarrassing.
Because obviously, like I say, it's intimidating enough, isn't it, when you meet in-laws and things like that. But then obviously when it's obviously like my granddad as well, like it was. What was my nan's approach though? Different or?
No, just easy going.
Yeah.
Never. I think because he'd had Babs earlier on.
Yeah.
They were sort of used to.
Yeah.
You know, boyfriends and whatever. But he always said, "Don't go out with a footballer."
Yeah.
Never. Because I remember Kevin Keegan came. When was it when they won the? Was it
74? They won the FA Cup, yeah.
And he came. I don't know what he'd come for, and we were just sort of talking as he was on the path and that. So he put his arms around me, Kevin, and my dad went, "No, watch him."
One we always kind of talk about as well is the because obviously we always say the public side of him was obviously quite well known and that, but
yeah,
I suppose like that's why I always love talking to you. Like it's like the stories not many people know and that, and we sometimes talk about the driving side as well, like and stuff. I mean, you experienced that firsthand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason I know the
good.
stories.
Yeah.
He was an awful driver, wasn't he?
Well, I think when he started driving, I don't think there was any driving tests.
Yeah. You didn't have to pass anything.
No, I don't think he had to do them till he brought them in later on.
Yeah, yeah.
He wouldn't have passed if he had brought them in. But he wasn't at all. Because he used to say to my mum, used to go to the hairdressers every Friday, and he'd say, "Nessie, I'll give you a lift." And she'd go, "No, it's all right, I'll walk."
Your nan didn't drive, did she?
She did take lessons, and then she didn't like it.
Yeah.
No.
Because you told me that story about the Mini. Didn't he get you the Mini as well?
He bought me a
And he wrecked
Mini,
the Mini
when I
didn't he?
passed the test, yeah. Yeah, he did. And we were going with your dad. I was going to Scotland to stay with his sister, Belle. And we had this, it was a lovely little Mini. But he had, like, I don't know, it was a Capri 2000 GT thing that Liverpool had given him. If they knew how he was, they wouldn't have given it to him. So he said, "Oh, tell you what," he said, you can't go all that way up there in that Mini." And it was brand new.
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, I'm not going on the train." So he said, "Well, you take my car," I said, "and I'll take the Mini." So anyway, off we went. We had a lovely time, came back. I drove all the way back. And when I looked at the Mini, I thought, it doesn't sound right, you know, when you... What? He's been ragging it all over, because it was only, I mean, you know what Minis were like then. And I thought, he went to having a bit of trouble finding the gears and all. And one time he was driving and the exhaust fell off on Queen's Drive. So he just carried on home and just left it. And then, what was the other one? Liverpool, you know, they buy the cars, they supply the cars. Years ago, I think it was Ian Skelly's.
Yeah, I remember Ian Skelly.
Ian Skelly.
Yeah.
And as he came into the thing, he pulled the handbrake and it just came off in his hand, the whole thing. Honestly.
Yeah, and then there was the one, wasn't there, as well, with Margaret, your mate, wasn't it, when she used to try and give her a lift to school and didn't she say to you, "Never again"? After she got in the car, didn't she, with the kids?
No, he only ever had one accident that I can remember, which wasn't his fault. My mum was in hospital in the old women's, Catherine Street. And my sister and her best mate, Margaret, were in the back of the car. And as he was going along, somebody ran a red light and hit the back of the car and it spun. And because you didn't have seatbelts, so my sister flew out. Margaret didn't.
She called the car, didn't she, on seatbelts?
Yeah, she slid across the road and all her leg was...
Yeah.
And because it was a women's hospital and not like accident and emergency, he took her in. He said, "Somebody needs to look at her legs." And they went, we're like a women's hospital, we're not. And he went, "Somebody needs to look at her legs now." And they did. But how stupid. I mean, in a hospital, they could have... But that was that. That was the year Kennedy got assassinated.
Oh, was it?
63.
Yeah.
And when we came back, it had come over on the news.
That, like, obviously, a little bit of sternness there and stuff. Obviously, he had that big personality, didn't he? And the whole the psychology and stuff like that we now know he obviously was well known for and that. Was he strict with you? Did you ever see any of that, like, or like from thing, or was he quite laid back, or
Laid back.
you know, Because obviously, you know, like you say there,
I mean,
obviously,
he's one of 10 children, let's face it. It couldn't be anything more, could he?
yeah.
If there's 10 of you.
I just like to say, because obviously dealing with, like, you know, footballers and things like that, like you say.
Oh,
like,
I think he probably was with that.
yeah.
Probably was with them.
But it was never like that with
No.
yous, like, and that, just quite laid back.
No, just laid back.
His approach to it. I'm thinking there, Joe, when you said about the women's, I remember you telling me, I know we're jumping around on that, but didn't you say as well that, I don't know whether it was when you were having our Jenny,
Yeah.
or your dad,
It was
our
in
Claire,
Oxford Street.
and
No,
it was in Oxford Street, and
Oxford
the
Street.
whole ward ended up
No, it was
chaos because he
visiting.
was in. He'd come in to see us,
He
something
came,
like that.
I didn't think he would, but he came in to visit, and because all the men were visiting their wives or girlfriends, and they were all like that, and then they all disappeared. He came over to talk to him, and all the wives were sitting in bed, just having had a baby.
All without the
And
dads.
I just said, just don't come anymore. Stay at home. He had a gentle side to him, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, that's I suppose that's the side like that, like, I always try and get out of you, and that, like I said it before, like the public side's been done to death kind of thing, and that, and I suppose in that respect, people will think like they knew him, obviously, because of what you pieced together from
football wise, yeah.
And from the public side, and I suppose that's the bit that I've always found quite interesting with you, you know what I mean, as to what was he really like, you know, as a person, like as a dad and that, and like as a husband and stuff, and like you say, is that just quite a lot laid back, quite soft kind of thing and stuff.
Well, when we lived in, where was it? Robert Grove.
Yeah.
And we were moving, so I had like.
So that you and me dad?
No, yeah. So I had a 3-year-old, a 3-month-old, 2 big rubber plants, a cat in a basket, and I just thought, because we were going to stay with them because our house wasn't ready.
Yeah.
They hadn't moved out, so I thought, oh, wait till I come in with all this, going to say, what are you bringing in here? You know, kids and that. And I thought, he's not going to like that cat at all. So he went, is
that Lucy? Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was only about 2. So I thought, oh God, how's he going to... He wasn't worried about that. He went, those rubber plants, where are you going to put those? And when, you know... And we stayed there for a while. And then we moved to the house, and he said, you can leave her here with us if you like to live there.
And he wanted it, didn't he?
You can just leave her because, like, you need to get the house straight and you just do this and that. And he spoilt her rotten.
Actually, I never knew that he'd had the cat as well.
Yeah. He used to be out every night seeing where she was. And,
stalking around the neighbourhood looking for the cat.
And she had a massive fight one night with a big tomcat, and all its side was ripped open. He was absolutely devastated.
Yeah. Because obviously he was quite hands-on with Scamp as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Obviously it was your dog, but
yeah.
I think he ended up looking after Scamp, didn't he? Like mostly kind of thing. And that.
Yeah, well, I was at school then. Well, I was at college, actually.
He got you your first house, didn't he? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, got that for me.
He did that for
Robert Grove.
You and me, Auntie.
I mean, when you think about it, it's laughable, isn't it? Now you're looking at houses, it's £7,000 it was.
Is that what it was back then?
Yeah.
Like in like the early 1970s.
Imagine that now.
Absolutely.
We'd all be living in luxury, wouldn't we?
Cup finals and things like that. Like I know, obviously he got Liverpool promoted initially out the 2nd division, and then quickly won the 1st division. And then obviously there was the FA Cup in '65. Did you go in '65? Or
yes.
Did you go to all of them? '65, '71, and '74. The FA Cup finals. Did you go to all 3 of them?
My sister couldn't go to the. Why couldn't she go to the 6th? Oh, she was having Karen.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
so,
she would have been
in because Karen was 66, wasn't she?
No, 65.
Was she actually 65? Was she when she was born? So you went down to Wembley for. So you would. What would you have been then?
Stayed in the Hilton.
14, you'd have been then, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Stayed in the Hilton.
Because that's something I was wondering as well. You mentioned before England winning the World Cup in '66, so England are at the top of the world, but Liverpool have just won the league in '64, the FA Cup in '65, the league again in '66. So Liverpool are the most prominent team in England. Mersey Beach and the Beatles are playing like Liverpool must have been buzzing.
Yeah.
And you as a teenage girl, Bill Shankly's daughter. What was that like being around Liverpool then?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I mean, I wasn't really a big Beatles fan.
Said that, yeah.
But your nan went and bought Beatles wallpaper for my bedroom. And I thought of, well, I mean, it was nice of her. But I was never, I mean, I bought the albums and I bought their music, but I like rock music. I like the Stones and Queen
And I just think like the significance of like some of his quotes and things like that, like I say, it's that thing again, probably didn't realise at the time, like, you know, how impactful it was going to be. You know, when you seen Roy Keane the other day.
Well, and This Is Your Life, he must have still been working.
He was.
73 it was.
Yeah, he must have been.
Yeah.
Because obviously he was away. So they phoned up, This Is Your Life phoned up and asked for him. And I answered the phone because my sister, we were all at my mum's. And he said, can I speak to Bill? So I went, no. He's away with the team. And they went, he's not there then. And I went, yeah.
So they were checking.
And they said, can we speak to Nessie? So she went on the phone and said, we're just checking that he's not there. And it was just like this big conspiracy.
Yeah.
So that he didn't know. Because he'd gone down.
They played West Ham, I think.
Yeah. So my mum, well, obviously didn't know she was going. So she said, oh, I'm at the hairdressers, don't bother, you know, you can't, there was no mobile phones. So she's gone off to the hairdressers. We're all getting ready to get the train down. I can still remember the hotel, the Clive. And we all got down. My sister did go. Yeah, she did. And I just thought, and people were like ringing me at work. They were saying, we need to know this, and can we know, and all like information, can I meet you somewhere? And I thought, my mum's going into town, meeting men in hotels. Nobody sees her. And it was really, they did it really well. And it was it Eamon?
Eamon Andrews, it was, the
Andrews.
Irish guy who did it at the time.
So we were all down there. He didn't know we were down there. And then the train, it was quite funny because my mum said, I don't think he's going to do this. He's going to tell him where to put the book. And as the train pulled in, Eamon Andrews was waiting with the thing, and the train carried on to the next thing along. So Eamon Andrews had to go, and he had to run down to where the train was going. It had gone past where it should have stopped or something. But he was okay in the end. I think all the players knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
Do you think he ever suspected anything, or do you think it was a total surprise to him?
Total surprise. Because I had to get time off work. I think, didn't I? And I
time off, boss, for the
well,
to be on This Is Your Life for me to answer.
I couldn't tell. I mean, you know, like, they'd ring me at work and I'd just say to Peter, who was my boss, can I just take this? And he'd say, how many people are ringing you? And in the end, I had to say to him, because he must have thought I was carrying on with somebody. And I said, This Is Your Life, but you can't say anything, and he didn't.
Because it's sad, isn't it? Because it's one of the only ones. Obviously, we've got the red book.
They've lost it, yeah.
But we've got the red book, haven't we? We've got the audio of it.
Where is that book?
I've got that.
Oh.
But there was a fire, wasn't there? I think at the Thames Television Archive room, and one of his tapes was one of the ones that was destroyed. So
You'd have thought there'd be more than one.
Yeah.
Copy,
there's no VT
you?
of it. Like there's only the audio.
There's a record with the book.
Yeah, and the audio's good. Like if you listen to it, 74 Cup final there. Obviously his last game. So you obviously you say you'd have been at that one as well. Do you remember that? Like obviously the Newcastle one. Do you remember that? Like a bit more vividly kind of thing.
I think I went down with your dad.
Obviously it was the last proper game, if you like. I know he managed the Charity Shield game against Brian Clough. Brian Clough used to ring for him, didn't he? Actually, just to digress. He used to ring the house quite often for him.
A lot of people did.
Like, it was, didn't you? Because you used to answer the phone, didn't you, quite a lot with the Brian Clough one? You've told me.
I know. You used to say, tell him I'm not in, as loud as you could. And that's what I used to say, yeah, he's just said he's not in.
And he still didn't give up now.
No.
I mean, before we go on to obviously the retirement thing like that, because obviously when you talk about like to the famous people and stuff like that, you know, was that something that was quite common at the house and stuff? Obviously, you would have had this. Did you ever have the players there quite a lot at the house, or was that something you dealt with more?
I used to have Emlyn.
Yeah, as captain and stuff like that.
Oh, he was lovely, yeah. And Kevin.
And Kevin and that. So, what like was it like so the celebrities? Because obviously, I had a good mate to like a lot of celebrities, wasn't he? Obviously, we talked about Jerry Marsden and Ken Zard and Cilla Black and people like that. Like,
he met loads of people.
But
loads of like stars, I suppose. Because when I was sorting all this your nan's stuff out, there was like loads of cards from Lulu.
Yeah.
I meant to think there was something. Why? Like half a dozen at least.
Yeah. She's Scottish as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
I always forget she's Scottish.
And Rod Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we met loads of people. But he was never like starstruck or
Yeah. Think they were probably more
bragged
starstruck with him?
about it. What?
Think they were more starstruck with him?
Well, they couldn't get a word in with him, could they?
He used to spend a bit of time with local comedians, didn't he?
Ken Dodd.
Ken Dodd.
Yeah.
And he was another
Well,
one.
Ken Dodd only lived, didn't he?
Just there,
Just
yeah.
Thomas,
yeah.
Thomas Lane.
So did he keep that side of it quite separate? It wasn't something that would intrude into like family life and
No.
stuff like that?
No.
Like you wouldn't see like these people at the house and stuff like that, really? Was that something
Well, he
that
got
was
that
quite...
letter, didn't he, from Winston Churchill's wife?
Yeah, Clementine Churchill, yeah.
What was that? I can't remember.
It was over his he'd done
Something to do
something.
with football?
He played in a charity game to raise
right.
money
Yeah.
for the Red Cross during the war.
Right.
And she wrote to him to thank him.
Oh, I ripped it in half.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you want to tell that story, actually?
No, because it was empty. it was in an envelope. Like you've got no idea the stuff that my mum left. Well, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just, and I took all this stuff out the envelope, and I didn't think there was anything else in it, so I ripped the envelope in two, and then
I seen you do it, and
I went, oh, there's a letter in here, was it? And I went, oh no.
Clementine. Now, thankfully, we were able to, she like ripped it like sort of once, maybe twice.
I could have like shredded it, but I just...
So we were able to sort of lift it out and put it into like the 4 pieces and kind of like put it almost back
she'd written
together.
it. It was handwritten, wasn't it?
Yeah, handwritten and hand signed by her, Clementine Churchill. We've got it. Yeah, that's one of the
Where
things
is
you've got it. You've got that back.
Have I?
Yeah. That's one of the things I passed back to you, kind of thing, because it was obviously so valuable and that.
I know there's the Beatles telegram you gave me.
Yeah, you've obviously got that as well. That was something that we didn't realise was there either, did we, as well? Like, and things like so.
It was, I mean, when my mum passed away, she had kept everything from when she met him, photos to everything, hadn't she? And sort of all tidy, not like me, everything was tidy. And every sort of wardrobe I opened, I thought, can't be any more stuff than that. And then she had a loft. So a nice neighbour of mine, he took me up there and we went in the loft and it was just jam-packed with all the stuff.
It was unbelievable. It was a crazy experience, wasn't it, really? And I think for me as well, like it was... and it was good for me because obviously I never got to meet my granddad and things. So, you know, everything I know about him has obviously been learned from obviously, you know, my nanny Nessie when my nanny Nessie was with us, and obviously from you and things like that. And then obviously we've done what we've done later on. So I kind of had to piece together myself a little bit, sort of who he was as a person. And I think my nan kind of keeping all that stuff helped that.
Yeah.
You know.
He always, like, because he had 5 sisters and 4 brothers, but he always looked after, well, Bob was a football manager, wasn't there? There was 2 that were football managers.
Yeah.
But he always looked after his sisters.
Because he was back, wasn't he, quite frequently to Glenbuck? Well, obviously when, you know...
Well, I used to go and spend the summers there with my mum.
Yeah. And did you stay actually in the village as well?
No, because it wasn't... There was just like, you know, Barbara Crawford?
Yeah.
What's her name now? Alexander.
Oh, Alexander,
There was just like 2 bungalows like on the front and they lived there.
Yeah.
And Liz was my dad's, one of his sisters. But he used to tell funny stories, my dad. Because one of the girls, Liz, she had the loudest voice you've ever heard. So over night time, they used to sneak out. Because I can imagine them in like a 2-bedroomed house, 10 of them. And they'd sneak out. And like, they'd look, you know, the parents would be going, where are they? Oh, they're in bed, they're fine. Or like in the wall, they had like beds in the wall. And because they'd sneak out, and Liz always gave them away. She had the loudest voice. They'd be shouting, you know, where are you? Shout. And she'd go, they're not find us here. Like this loud, and they'd go. Oh, God. Yeah, they had a good, it was lovely. They had a nice time. I mean, he walked all that time when he was in the pit.
Because he went down the pit, didn't he, as well? Like for a small period of time, didn't he, when he come out of school?
But they had to walk. I mean, it was... You know what it's like there. It's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Because I know we had a small period of time down there before he was picked up by Carlisle and things. But I think that sort of background and that, obviously, the sort of quite a humble beginning probably.
I mean, his dad was a tailor.
Yeah.
That's why another thing he was obsessed with. If anybody bought new clothes, he had to sew the buttons on, my dad. But he sewed the buttons on so tight you couldn't fasten them. Because I had a lovely coat, I told you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Lovely coat. And he said, no, I'll do the buttons. They won't come off. I couldn't fasten the coat. I had to leave the coat open permanently. And like, he always used to press his trousers, you know, with like brown paper and an iron.
It's like that's come from his dad then, do you think?
Yeah.
The tailor black
Well, he
guy,
was
mate?
smart. He was always well
Yeah,
dressed.
yeah.
Because that come from his dad and from watching the gangster films.
Because he loved that,
Oh,
didn't he?
God, Jim, yeah. Cagney. And the Untouchables.
Yeah. Because he was
Yeah.
into all that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And that
Into
shaped a little
boxing,
bit
yeah.
his the
Oh,
way
he
he
was,
dressed.
yeah.
Like suits and stuff like that, overcoats and things.
I mean, I can't say, he always had a like jacket and tie and shirt on when he was on the bench thing.
Yeah.
He didn't like Jurgen with the, man, it's different times.
Back in the house, was he just back in the house trackie, or was
Yeah,
he,
it was
I
trackies.
was going to say, or was he walking around the house in like shirt
Yeah.
and pants and that, or just relaxed?
And he used to buy, he was the thing for gadgets.
Oh,
you
was
know.
he? Yeah.
Oh. Well, do you remember, well, I don't know, I can't remember, there was a television, it was
Hitachi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to have
Liverpool
one.
sponsor on it.
You
Yeah.
had to have Hitachi. And then he'd have like, it was a processor, you know, like a juicer, and then a mix. There was just gadgets everywhere.
See, I didn't know he was into the gadgets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the first time
And he was interested in a lot of things. Religion. Well, he wasn't religious, but
because my granddad was Protestant, wasn't he? Is that
Yeah.
right? And was my nanny Nessie Catholic initially, or no, Protestant as well? So they were
Yeah.
both Protestants.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I wasn't
but
sure.
he was always interested in it. Like he used to go and have lunch with St Edward's College,
Yeah, just there. Yeah.
the brothers. And he used to go and he used to have lunch with them, and then he'd go to like a Sikh. It was like a temple thing, and then he'd come back with that red dot.
Oh wow! So we used to do
On
a bit
his
of
head.
Yeah.
And he was really interested in things like that.
Because you think like when he had the time to fit all of this in, like to be fair,
But he was and also Older Hay, the children.
charity stuff and that.
He
Yeah.
used to go
Yeah.
all the time. It was
Because
upset.
Liverpool still do that to this day, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, he used to go on his own.
Yeah.
He was upset when he came back.
I think the only time we ever heard him speak about religion was at Anfield, saying, "This is my church,
Yeah.
this is my religion." That's it. And I don't think he ever, other than I think on Harold Wilson podcast, where they spoke about Jesus,
Yeah.
just to say he was the first socialist.
Yeah. It's kind of
First which?
First socialist. It's cracking line.
See, that was the difference as well. He was a socialist, your nan was a conservative.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That led to a few.
Oh, he didn't like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That because I didn't.
I mean,
Did they at loggerheads a few times and stuff like that, or?
I don't really know.
She was so laid back, like you say, and accepting of him doing what he done. Obviously, inviting people into your home and, thing is obviously a very socialist kind of a trait, I suppose, and stuff like that, isn't it? Do you think he rubbed off on her in the end?
No, she was definitely a conservative.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
I mean, he did vote.
But I didn't know that. As I say, that's obviously different like kind of political persuasion kind of thing. And
When your nan went into hospital in '63, and they have a thing on your bed, what religion, blah blah, and she put Presbyterian, and she went, "How'd you spell that?" And she just put Christian.
I remember you telling us the other day. Obviously, obviously it's not your memories, but what you got told about how they met. As well, because obviously he was stationed.
When he was jogging.
So what was the situation with that?
Not jogging, training.
Yeah, because they were stationed. You told me a story, but what she said.
No, she liked the look of him.
Yeah. So what?
No, she was very attractive.
He went like jogging, did he, around by where she was stationed?
Yeah, and there was a big age gap, wasn't there?
But then it was 1944, wasn't it, that they were married?
Yeah, because Babs was born 45.
Just before the end of the war, wasn't it? I think. Did he get on with me nan's dad?
Yeah, I suppose he did. Yeah, I suppose he did. But I mean, he ended up sort of living with us when he lost his wife. He lost my great.
So did he move everywhere with you then? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right the way, and then right the way to Liverpool as well. Mad that, isn't it?
How would you think he'd have found? Obviously, the way media was then was bit, but the way it is now with social media, do you think he would have just hated?
He hated it.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have, like...
But I do, so, you know, I do.
Because I'm always like that. Whether he's
No, he wouldn't have liked it.
whether he's like I'm always a bit like that on the fence over it and stuff like that, because obviously he clearly liked being in front of the camera, or did he not? I don't know. Maybe it was just maybe he just turned it on when he needed to. You know, and obviously, but I suppose obviously the downside of it now is there's so many opinions, isn't there, and things like that.
Can't do anything without somebody having an opinion.
You know.
What does their opinion count? You don't know them, just some sad person.
Yeah. So he because that's one of the questions that you kind of always get asked, isn't it? Like about like whether how he'd like, you know, will he tolerate the sort of the power that agents
he wouldn't have tolerated the agents.
Yeah.
The football agents.
Because there was, I suppose, was there many of them around back then, or was it? I
think it was just beginning type of thing, but you don't want an agent telling a player what to do, or I don't think he would have been happy.
Taking all the massive fees that they take as well, like as part of the deal, and the clubs having to pay the agent for like negotiating it and stuff like that. You know what, when he was at home as well though, like, because obviously we all know he was obsessed with football and things like that. I don't think there's any debate in that. Like, did when he was at home, was he switch off from it, or was he still constantly?
I think people just bothered him. I used to, obviously, didn't have like the football channels they've got now. I used to, my job on the Saturday was to take all the results down. You know, in the newspapers, they'd have every team, like first division. Like, so I had to take down all the scores while he was playing, either at home or away, whatever. Because he didn't have the things we've got now. Like, comes up on the bottom, all the...
Yeah.
And he used to always come in, first thing he'd do is check whoever...
It's mad that you've got to go home and check that, isn't it? You know, when you think about the world now, just on your phone, on the app.
You just watch the game on your phone.
Yeah, and it's like mad that you've got to like wait to get home to find out like what.
But he used to play those records in order for every game.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, like, and that, like, the little superstitions and things like that.
Oh, he loved all his... He liked music.
So is that what he had, like a bit of a ritual, like on like match days, was it?
Yeah. Well, obviously if he was at home, not if I don't know what he did when he was away.
Well, and he'd just play records in like a certain order before he then obviously went to the game and stuff.
Well, players do things like that now, don't they? They hop out or come out backwards or cartwheel, whatever.
Was that the only real superstition kind of he had, or was he superstitious in any other way, like, and things?
No.
Or did he switch off at home, like, at times though, and that, or like, you know what I mean, or was it constant?
Well, he used to like doing the garden.
Yeah. Because he wasn't very good, was he, domestically?
No.
You said to me.
Tried to paint the loft cover. No, the flat loft cover.
Yeah. So
he thought, I'll go up the ladder and I'll paint that. But he dropped the paint thing and it went all the way down the stairs.
It's me, that. 100%. Can't knock a nail in a piece of wood. Definitely got that from his side of it.
Hopeless. And then he flagged the front garden. That was another one.
Yeah.
My mum had a lovely little front garden. Flagged it. And it was just like a round thing with a plant in the middle.
Yeah, I remember what was left of it. I mean, I think that's is that gone now fully, I think?
I don't know.
It's fully flagged now, isn't it? But there was always I do remember.
Has John done it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I do remember there was a little circular bit with with something in it in front of that front window kind of thing.
And she had like my mum loved the garden, the back garden, and she had this like a trellis thing, and there was like a circle, and it had all like carnations and lovely. So he didn't like that, so he dug up the carnations. They were gone. And she had this like clematis, and it was absolutely stunning. It was blue. So he thought that was a weed. So when he cut both ends, it just died and fell off.
So he thought it was a weed and he just killed it, the thing?
Just killed it. He went, it looks better without it.
It looks better dead.
I did used to go down when it was the weekend sometimes at Anfield when I was younger.
Yeah. And what was that
like?
We'd
take the dog.
What was that like? Like, and again, that must be mad. Like, think about kids.
Well, the players were there getting treatment.
That's what I mean. So like you haven't like... It's like every kid's dream almost, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. To sort of just have like access all areas, just go, oh yeah, I'm just off down to Anfield.
Well, I had like, through typing I had like rheumatism on my fingers. And he said, oh, Bob Paisley's got the thing for that. He said. So Bob Paisley had like this rubbing stuff, it stunk. So he put it on all my fingers and he went, like, you know, it's for the joints, rub it in. And all the skin came off my fingers. Honestly.
I hope the players never had a little.
That's what I mean.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Crazy, like, and
And I remember when we first moved here, the very first place we went to when we moved here was Reuben Bennett's house. He lived on Blackmore Drive.
Yeah.
And such a lovely family. And they'd done big tea for us and, you know, all that. And then Reuben, unfortunately, used to get a lift off my dad. He'd walk up of a morning when they were going to work and he'd give Reuben the lift. But he was a chain smoker, Reuben Bennett. And my dad hated smoke, you know. And you could see, he'd open the window, well, wind it down now. And all this smoke would be coming out from where... And in the end, he said to me one day, I said, you're going to have to tell him. You can't, you know, like one after the other, lighting cigarette from the other.
Finishes, yeah.
And he was such a nice man as well, Reuben. They were lovely.
I always say, like, obviously, when we do the tours, and there's so many questions that we get asked, but there's obviously, like, there's 3 prevalent ones, and a lot of people like to focus on the retirements and stuff like that. What's your memories of that side of it, like, in terms of, like, his process from sort of Liverpool win the cup in '74 in the May, I think it is, isn't it? And then I think it eventually gets announced. I think it's the 12th of July it gets announced. Do you remember anything about, or were you even privy to any of that?
He didn't say why, not to me.
Those conversations.
Maybe he told my mum, I don't know. He didn't tell me.
Did you kind of know it was coming? Like,
yeah, well, yeah, because I was working. I worked in the solicitors, and I knew at a certain time this was going to be an ad, whether it was 12 o'clock, it was going to come through the, obviously, whichever way it came then. I know, and I kept like going like this, and Peter kept saying to him, what? I went, no, it's nothing. And I went back into like my office, and it must have come through, and it dropped. And Peter went, Jeanette, why didn't you tell me? Well, no, I'm not going to tell you. It must have come through because, like, they interviewed all the kids, didn't they, on the street?
Yeah. Obviously shocked the world, and I suppose, like, that's what I was sort of asking, really, is kind of like, do you have any memory of him kind of, was it, do you remember it being like a difficult decision to him? Was it something that he went back and forth on?
Well, don't forget, I wasn't living there then, was I?
So I mean, you'd obviously moved out a couple of years earlier, hadn't you, and things like that, but, because obviously, that's the one thing we get asked a lot about, obviously, you know, with the reasons true, you know, in terms of him saying he wanted to obviously spend a bit more time with the family and stuff like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but he was busy even after when he retired.
Yeah.
Because your dad used to drive him round to all these dinner, you know, like dinner things and speaking.
Like, there's a lot of the grassroots side of it and things like that. But, because, like, we, you know, like, I mean, it's actually one of the questions, actually, which come through. I don't know whether you lifted it off, actually, but I did see it as well. And it centres a little bit around, I want to go on to my nanny Nessie properly in a minute, like, but centred around, obviously, Red or Dead. I think somebody in one of the questions for you had said, what do you think about the Red or Dead book, and which has subsequently turned into The Play, as we know, that was on a couple of years ago.
You went to see?
Yeah, and...
Oh, I would have walked out.
But,
so.
well, yeah, and obviously a lot is made of, you know, my nanny Nessie's role in his decision around retirement, and, you know, in terms of him being tired and stuff like that. Red or Dead portrays, rather annoyingly, that's quite diplomatic of me, my nanny Nessie as being somebody who was constantly throughout his career asking him to retire, but that was never the case, was it, at all? No. She didn't, no. Did she, at all? Like, no. You know, that was just a
How can they say what they think if they weren't there?
Yeah.
How do they know that happened?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that is true, isn't it? She because from what I understand of it, the only time she ever really floated him retiring was at this stage when he did retire. There was never any attempt before then to sort of to see whether he wanted to or not. He was
tired, like Klopp said he was tired as well.
Well, that's an interesting point. Like, could you see that, like, that he was?
Yeah, he was tired.
He was visibly tired by it.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Keegan tells the story. He said it a few times that my granddad looked tired in the dressing room after the game. In 74, yeah, and obviously then the retirement then comes like.
It's a long time in football life, isn't it?
Yeah. So could you see that?
Yeah, it was tired.
That he was he was starting to be tired and things.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, you know, you make a decision, you have to stick by it. And that's it. I mean, maybe it's the fact that Liverpool weren't that welcoming to him.
Because that leads on then to the other question then about, you know, people talk about did he fall out with the club, and things like that. I mean, do you have any memory of any of that side of it? Like,
I don't think they made him very welcome at Melwood.
Well, and I think some of the story around that centres on.
Everton did.
Yeah. So and he says that in his
Had
book.
a season ticket.
He says that in his book, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, I think the Melwood story centres on, you know, him being asked because he was going to train and keep fit, and the players were still calling him boss, and they felt like it was a bit unfair on Bob Paisley, which you can kind of see, to be fair. But you know, in terms of like, you know, did again you with your relationship with him, did you see kind of like any feelings of hate that he had?
I think he was. I don't know whether he was. I think it was just sad. I mean, maybe he regretted it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So from what we always seen from reading in between the lines, it was because I think John Smith and that didn't offer him. I think he thought he was going to get like a bit of an ambassadorial role.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who didn't get offered things, didn't they, when they left?
Yeah, but I think from what we and again,
sure, yeah.
You know, I from what I understand, and again, you'll know better.
I mean, Alex Ferguson got something, and then people say, "What are moaning about that now?"
Yeah, because he's around, you know, and it was
is he there too much? Is it? I don't know.
But you in terms of your relationship with him, did he? I suppose what I'm asking is, did he? Was he quite good at hiding any of that side of it, or could you physically see that, you know, he was hurt, kind of thing?
I don't know whether it was, as you say, I don't know whether it was because of that or, I don't know. I mean, you had to see. Well, you've got the season tickets.
Yeah. But did he really use them? Did he though? I don't think he seems to be more at other clubs more.
No, he did travel, because other clubs asked him to look at players maybe or whatever. But he definitely had Everton season tickets because I unpacked it in your nan's stuff.
We've got them. There was about a dozen of them, wasn't there? And some of them from when he was still Liverpool manager as well, to be fair. Which obviously we
Spygate.
Yeah, which we've got.
The blue and white.
Don't start that. Yeah.
And then he used to go to United quite a lot as well. That was another one. Do you remember the one with the boiled ham?
No.
When he went to United and he had all the buffet thing out. And he was, because he had a good appetite, so he was eating all this. And he went, "God, Matt, that boiled ham's good." And he went, "That's smoked salmon." Gone along and eaten it because it was rolled up. Thought it was boiled ham.
Do you think, like, one of the things like we always get asked as well is, and again, it's one you answer more, and I think sometimes people think it offends us if the answer is yeah. Do you think he definitely regretted retiring when he did? Do you think he struggled?
Maybe he regretted it, but I think he knew it was the right thing to do because he was tired.
And I always say like,
and quite obviously not as fit.
Yeah. And I always think there would have been an element that he probably felt like he owed me Nanny Nessie that a little bit as well.
Because don't forget, I mean, he had heart disease. All the brothers did.
Yeah.
The 5 brothers.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the sisters did actually.
Yeah.
And they reckon it was the water in Scotland. They got hard water.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So that's what they reckon. And they all had heart problems.
And what? So if he like,
one of his brothers was overtrained and ended up with a bad heart and had to pack in. I can't remember which brother it was.
Yeah.
But he came down to Sheffield, played for Sheffield.
Oh, and like in that respect, then you think, like, what did he do then to fill some of that void then from retirement and things like that? In terms of, is that where like going and doing some of the grassroots football stuff came in and things like that?
He took your nan to the hairdressers in the car. No, I don't know. He was out of it a lot of the night time, but I think now he would have been made up with the Sky Sports thing though.
Yeah.
He'd have been in his element.
Yeah.
To watch that.
Doing the punditry and all that kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah. But they couldn't be worse than some of them that are on, are they? On Sky Sports. Oof.
So I always think in some ways then like it's and obviously a Liverpool thing, a Liverpool people thing, like, you know, because I know obviously I've read a few things on weekend that comes to Liverpool, how excited he was about, because I think he's seen something in the people of the city as well.
The Glasgow and Liverpool are very, although my dad wasn't born in Glasgow, they're very similar.
Yeah.
Similar sense of humour.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Slot had a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Really.
That's the point I was getting. I think, like, you know, he was excited because there's got a bit of kindred spirits there. You know, I think he loved
Yeah.
the passion of Liverpool people and how much they idolised their football team and stuff like that. And in his head, he thought that's something I can get on board with. And I think, you know, Jürgen, very, very similar. And maybe there's a pattern there, isn't there? But in terms of like people embracing the spirit of the club and the people and things who do really well at the club versus maybe people who
Well, I can remember, like away matches, and kids would be saying to him, "Have you got any tickets? Have you got?" And he always used to have whatever tickets he had, because he didn't use a wallet. He never did. She bought him loads of wallets and never found them again. So he used to like say, "I've got the tickets," or like 2 kids were stranded, they were going to hitch home, and he gave them the train fare to go home.
Yeah.
Which is just a different era now, isn't it?
What do you think my nan's role was then, if you had to sum it up in his success kind of thing, and that what is it that she did, that, or how she was there
I think he wouldn't have been what he was. He couldn't have done that job.
without her doing
No.
what she did, like.
No.
And I think that's what it was. I think that's the answer to the question then.
And you have to remember as well, your nan, my mum, was brought up in the city. She was brought up in Glasgow, and Dunchatton Street.
East End Glasgow, wasn't it? Yeah.
And she gave up that life and came down to England and different places in England, not just the one place in England. And, you know, and it must have been a big wrench for her because, you know, she loved her city.
Yeah. Do you think like in some ways like she forego, or whatever you word you want to say it, any kind of ambitions she had to kind of like
Possibly.
provide that like
Possibly.
that thing, you know, that support to him, because he couldn't have done, he obviously couldn't have done what he did, you know, if he had to be hands on at home and hands on with you and me Auntie Babs, Cuddy and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And he had to think about all the once he better face the domestic stuff. Do you know what I mean? So is it like, you know, that she just looked after everything else that and he was.
But I think that's not just her. I think that was what it was in those days. I think men went out to work and the women stayed at home and looked after the kids and the house. And
what was it like? I mean, obviously, it must have been like a difficult time in terms, obviously, when because he passed away quite unexpectedly, really, didn't he?
He hadn't been well. I'd seen him that day.
So again, I didn't know that, like, and things.
He came down to Elmtree. By that time he was, because he gave his car to what's his name, didn't he? Remember that lovely groundsman from years ago? The kids, Jenny and Claire, didn't know his name.
Eli,
yeah.
Yeah.
He gave him the car and he said, "You can have that car."
Why? Just because he was getting a new one, or because he didn't? Or...
No, he just said, "You can have it." That was his car, by the way. It wasn't Liverpool's car.
Yeah.
What were we talking about then?
No, about when he passed and that, like, it was quite unexpected.
Oh yeah, he came down just to see how I was and that, and I thought, and he walked. So he was walking. So he walked from Elmtree up here.
Okay.
But apparently, somebody said he sat on the wall at the end for ages.
Okay.
So he must have been feeling
so,
not right, type of thing, and so it was a shock. But now, if it happened nowadays, there's things they can do.
They would have seen it
for it. They would have, you know, they could whatever. But then there was nothing. It was heart disease. So.
Yeah. And obviously, like they did.
And I did go in to see him, with Babs, you know, and he had like an oxygen mask on, and he went, "God, this clears up your catarrh, doesn't it? These are marvellous, these oxygen masks." And he died that night.
Oh. Yeah.
So.
Because I know that, because he was ill, wasn't he? And then he recovered, and then obviously, you know. But I mean, in terms of, like, obviously, like, do you remember much about like the reaction and the funeral? Like, you see some of the images from the funeral and things like that, and
they had all the Everton players lined up here.
Yeah.
Because they were training there. They had all the Everton players lined up outside.
Yeah.
But
because you said to me as well about, obviously we know that his ashes were scattered on at Anfield.
Yeah,
in the
that's something I didn't want, but there you go.
But you alluded that my nanny Nessie didn't really want it either, but she was too sort of.
I think there was like a committee of people that thought it was a good idea, but
yeah, because you feel like that probably wouldn't have been what you would have done in the end if it'd been down to me nan and used properly, like, and things, you would
But
have.
there again, then you see if you got like a grave or even just a place where the ashes are.
Yeah.
People come and do stupid things to them.
I don't think anybody would have done anything to me.
Oh, I do.
That's though. So
I do.
I think, you know, the sort of, that's one of the things that you get in this city even now to this day. Evertonians of a certain age
Yeah.
will always say how much they idolise them as well. You know, there's never a bad word, as they said about it, like from Everton fans about them and things. You know, so you have, if anything, there's a massive respect there as well.
Do you know Barbara that I go to have a meal with, the girl I used to work with? Her dad was a golf pro, and they live on Layfield Road, the golf course down there. And she said years ago, when she was younger, they picked my dad up from Belfield. It must have been something to do at the West Derby Golf Club, and took him down. There must have been like a dinner or something on. And Barbara said, he said, "Oh, what a beautiful place. But, you know, golf's no good for your back. You shouldn't play it." And her dad was like a proper professional golfer.
Yeah.
He said, "I just like that in the chair."
Do you want to, should we do a couple of the questions? Graham Seddon, who put, you know, did Bill really understand what he meant to us? He's just, and this is me telling you exactly what he wrote. He's as close to a god as I know. 45 years since we lost him, and I still feel the same. Do you think he knew deep down what the scale of what he'd achieved and what it meant to the fans?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because
Definitely a people person.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think if, you know, even probably over and above all the actual physical trophies and things, I think it would have been just the joy that obviously he provided to fans and stuff. So do you think he, like, as I say, he kind of knew that was there, that adulation for him and things?
Definitely.
Ben Raymond, what was his best quality as a dad? Was he as good a storyteller to his children as he was when conducting interviews?
Don't think he ever read a story. But when he used to go away with the team, he always brought something back for me. And I was a big reader, still am.
Yeah.
And he used to bring, like, I always remember, in fact, I've still got it, a big, massive Wizard of Oz book,
Yeah.
this high. And it always bought me, like, books and stuff that I'd read.
Yeah.
And perfumes and watches.
So he always brought you presents back?
I got that when I was about 15. It's still going. No, he didn't tell stories. He was a good storyteller, though.
Just not to use though. Saved it for in work.
But then again, I don't think in those days men did. No.
Tony Elvin, that's got a good question actually. Would Bill have ever dreamt how huge Liverpool FC would have been to this day? Do you think he would have ever foreseen
No.
how big it would have
As it is now?
Yeah.
Globally?
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have thought that.
I think that was because probably just like, you know, I suppose you can't foresee, can you really, how society changes and that kind of thing and stuff.
No, I don't think he would have thought that.
But do you think, like, obviously when he comes in 59, you know, when it's a distressed area, Liverpool, isn't it, as well? Obviously, post-war Liverpool's not the greatest place, and obviously Liverpool languished in second division, all the things you spoke about and that. Do you think, like, if you're going to sum up his legacy in one way, do you think, again, I'm always answering the question for you, but how do you think he would have felt to know that what he did in those 15 years there is absolutely the catalyst for Liverpool being the most successful English team of all time, and what you see today is in part down to what he did? How do you think he would have felt about that?
I don't know whether that would have been, because he wouldn't have known, would he? So he wouldn't have thought.
So then reverse the question then. Do you think if you sat him down in 59 and said, "So listen, in 50, 60, whatever it is years time, you know, the product of what you're starting to do now is going to lead to this football club being one of the biggest entities in the entire world and the most successful English team of all time"? What do you think he would have said about that?
I think he would have been amazed.
Who was your dad's hero? How do you think he would feel about the lack of passion from modern day footballers? Another good one. So who was his hero? Do you know, sporting wise?
Sporting wise?
Do you think of anybody he was, because he was into boxing as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. The old boxers.
Like all that.
Joe Louis, is it Joe? I don't know the names.
Yeah.
Joe Louis.
Yeah.
Can't can't think really. I mean, what's it, that sort of era, the boxers in that sort of era.
Yeah.
He did like, but he started out as a boxer.
And footballers, I know what you always say, I think from what I see, you always said Tom Finney.
Yeah.
Greatest player he'd ever seen.
Tom Finney, definitely.
They've been in there as well.
Definitely.
And then he liked actors as well, didn't he? Obviously, you know, he liked the all the Untouchable stuff.
Oh, Elliot Ness, wasn't it? The Untouchables.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the ones that got Al Capone?
Yeah.
Probably liked Al Capone as well. What do I thought of all these films that are out now? I have no idea.
And I think I like that. What do you think he'd feel about the lack of passion from modern day footballers?
They're overpaid and underperform. And it doesn't matter how much they underperform, they're still going to get the same money.
Yeah.
So what's the point in trying?
How do you think he would have dealt with having players like that though?
They wouldn't have been in the team.
I was going to say, they just wouldn't have been there, would they, at the end of the day?
What was it you used to say? Shut the door from the outside as you leave.
It's touched on it a bit. What was it like at school having such a famous dad? Did you ever get any hassle for it?
No.
Just
No.
the opposite, just people maybe like...
And when I went for, the funny thing is, when I went for an interview for my last, that job I had, God, how old was I? About 18, something like that. In a solicitor's. And he was like really posh, the fella that owned the solicitors. Lived in Caldy. I can still remember Windy Hay or something. And like they did this interview with like a few of the other partners that were in there. And then he did like all the questions, and he went, and what does your dad do for a living? So I went, and all the others were going. And I went, he manages Liverpool Football Club. And he went, really? Because he was just he wouldn't have known football, you know what I mean? That snob. It was just that the others all went, what did he?
What did he do with all the whiskey he won for his awards for managerial manager of the month and that? Because we all know he didn't drink and he used to win it a lot.
Oh, the big bottles of Bells wasn't
I
it?
remember them,
We used to put money in them, do you remember?
Yeah, he used to have a slummy,
What did he do with it? Well, he certainly didn't drink it.
Yeah.
Unless he gave it away.
He didn't, because again, the teetotal, pretty much teetotal, wasn't
If he had a cold, he'd put whiskey and lemon and...
Did he ever drink? Or from...
No, he used to smoke years ago.
Did he? I never even knew
when
that.
he was in the... Was it the RAF?
In the RAF, yeah.
Years ago.
Oh, and he was playing then as well, wasn't he? Obviously, the war was on, but...
There's a lot of footballers smoke now.
But, I mean, was he always pretty much like, other than like having a if for a cold or medicinal purposes,
No, he didn't drink.
He didn't, he just
Your
never
nan
touched
didn't
it.
drink neither.
No, and I remember...
Somebody spiked her drink on the pile of pennies.
No. No.
She wanted she's like me, she likes tomato juice. So, because we'd been for about 15 pubs by this time, she said in this pub, I'll just have a large tomato juice. And somebody put a double vodka in it. And she didn't taste it. She was like that. I went, oh my God, somebody's put something in her drink. I thought she was going to get up and sing.
Well, because when she used to come round for Christmas, though, I feel like she used to have a little something.
She had a nasty.
A little
nasty spumante.
Yeah, a little nasty.
Yeah, a little glass. And then she had two, and one that started singing that year when our Emma was here.
Yeah. So like you tell, she definitely weren't used to it, was she?
She couldn't drink.
Somebody put Pauline Jones, was your dad strict? I know we've touched on it a little bit.
No.
Doesn't seem like he was, though, does it? At all, like...
No.
Was he upset not being invited by the club to go to Rome, buying his own ticket and travelling with the fans? So obviously this is the first European Cup final, 77, quite a well-documented story. But again, it's how much of this he shared with you. Because they're getting a theme here that he kind of seemed to keep all the things probably to himself away from you.
I don't know. I say I wasn't at home then.
So 77, European Cup final.
Jenny
Liverpool.
was only 2.
Yeah, and it's widely documented he made his own way. Because he was sort of, wasn't really allowed to travel with the club. And it was, story that a lot of Liverpool fans, didn't like at all. Did you ever get any of that side of it? Or again, did he keep all that probably away from you?
He kept it away.
What do you think about that after everything he did for Liverpool that he had to...
Oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? Yeah. Should be ashamed of themselves.
Again, I think one of the things he'd be most proud of is the fact that, his ideals of how the club should have been are still right there to this day by the fans and things like that. And whenever the club step out of line in some way, you know, you've got Spirit of Shankly, which is set up in his name to uphold that ethos and things. Whenever the club step out of line or someone connected to the club steps out of line with that, you know, people will instantly pull it back to, you know, because this is what Shankly wanted and stuff. Do you think that's probably one of the most biggest like things he would have took delight from, really, in terms of his legacy? Because it's like, how many years are we on now? I don't know, like, you know, and people are still saying, no, this is how the club should be governed, kind of thing, you know.
I don't think he would have survived Hillsborough.
Well, I mean, Louise Brooks, obviously, you know,
He wouldn't.
Louise is obviously a really good friend, isn't she? And, you know, Louise always says, she won't mind me saying, you know, she says, you know, she always goes, if your granddad had been alive during Hillsborough, they wouldn't have gone away with it. She always says that, like, because
No, they wouldn't.
she knows how sort of fierce he was in terms of his opinion. And
Well,
being...
they still have, haven't they? They're still not...
Well, I mean, no one's... The truth is there now, isn't it? But, you know, accountability...
So what's the hold up?
Yeah, accountability, I think, is sadly, obviously, probably never going to come now.
I think that Hillsborough, I think it wiped Kenny out.
Yeah.
It made him ill. And yeah, he went and did what he had to do.
Yeah. You think me and my granddad would have certainly...
He would have done the same, but I think it would have
like...
just destroyed him.
Yeah.
I can still remember it. Sitting here with your nanny. Nanny had that.
Yeah. My dad was there.
Your dad had gone, hadn't he?
Yeah. Would he have liked to have managed Scotland, and would he have took the job?
Don't know.
What was his...
I think he'd made his life here. I don't know whether he would have gone back. What do you mean now? Oh, like when he retired,
well, that's
at any point?
That's a good way of looking at it. When he retired, potentially, you know, think if he'd got offered it, do you not think he would have done it? Because he always seems to come across as being quite, obviously, proud and that.
Oh, he is, yeah.
And things.
He is.
It's a bit like the Jurgen Klopp situation with Germany, isn't it? Obviously, he stepped down, but then he's come out of it to go and manage his national team. Would my granddad to come out of retirement to do for the Scottish?
Yeah, but Jurgen Klopp's a lot younger, isn't he?
Yeah. I am as well, to be fair, as well. We got told a story. I probably have told you this for on the Zone. I do tell it on the tour sometimes. Eddie Klein, who was obviously he was a friend of my granddad's, and he was a politician back in the day, and like a lot of people used to catch up with him regularly post-retirement. And Eddie Klein wrote in his book, so it is in his book as well, the story that my granddad had been tipped off one day that Everton were thinking about getting rid of Billy Bingham. And because my granddad was so annoyed with Liverpool still over his treatment, he said his sources had told him that Everton were going to approach my granddad to come out of retirement to manage Everton. And he says my granddad turned around and said, if they offer me it, I'll take it. Do you think he ever would have took that? Think he would have managed Everton after he'd managed Liverpool?
No, I don't think so.
I'm glad you said that, because I always say no as well. I always start it out by saying, like, people say things when they're angry that they don't mean, so maybe my granddad was probably having a bit of a sound off, but actually going and doing it, I couldn't have ever seen it. I know he had a big, massive respect for Everton, but I don't think he would have...
Very few managers have gone from...
Well, Rafa did it, didn't he, last night?
Oh.
What was your overall opinion then on the Red or Dead play?
Just like to know where they got the information from and based a whole play on it when...
You were in it.
I didn't know anything about... How did we find out?
You've seen it on social media and you rang me and I told you, but...
I don't go on social media.
You'd seen it on something on your phone, you rang me, but... I mean, again, just as we're wrapping up, how much of an annoyance has that been over the years? Stories, things like that, getting done without you. I mean, you know, certainly when Nanny Nessie initially, and then you being spoken to about it, especially when it comes out that it's completely inaccurate.
People can believe what they believe, and what I say and what I think doesn't make any difference.
Well, it does, because
I know what's true,
yeah,
but they obviously don't.
Yeah. But it must be annoying though to like sort of see, like, certainly in that instance there, so much factual inaccuracies.
I know, I wouldn't have known how bad it was unless you'd gone.
No, and I don't mind, and I don't mind it being on camera as well. I certainly the second half of the production, which focused on my granddad post-retirement, I nearly got up and walked out, and that's me, and I wasn't there. I only know what I know through you. The way they had him being portrayed, and my nan's role and stuff like that, it was just all over the show. So I was very close to walking out. A guy called David Peace. You actually went, you won't remember it, when he launched the book over 20 years ago. we went to the launch of it. You actually stopped me. You won't remember this. You stopped me asking for the mic in the open mic session because I was going to get the mic and say to him, "You've just openly said on stage you consulted with the family about the book. You haven't, because we're the family and you've not spoken to anybody."
Unless he
So,
spoke to somebody else, but I didn't.
but he didn't. We were all there at the time, and he obviously he was sued by Brian Clough's family as well. Remember?
Really? Oh, for
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Over the damned United. So, you know, must be annoying, obviously, but then again, maybe over time you get used to it and stuff like and things. But
People believe what they believe. And what you say is not going to change it.
if you had to summarise it, what was his best attribute as a father?
He was caring,
Yeah.
generous,
Yeah.
kind.